But Netflix dropped a documentary, which I've seen some mixed reactions to, mostly because I follow a bunch of Florida fans and they just like to complain about everything. But I've seen some mixed reactions to. I thought I've seen 2 episodes so far, both been really good. But Netflix dropped a documentary, Any Given Saturday is maybe the name of it.
Saturday, yeah.
All about SEC football. It goes through some of the high moments, low moments from the last season. Really fun to get some kind of glimpse into some of the behind the scenes stuff. If you're a junkie and you follow this, I mean, maybe you knew everything that was kind of in there anyway, but it is kind of cool to see it all compiled, and they did a really good job with the Netflix documentary, really well put together. Cole and I, and the guys SEC Unfiltered, obviously, we were in it. That was the coolest thing. They hit me up in, I don't know, January, February, and they were like, hey, we would like to use a clip from your podcast about DJ Lagway. Would you be okay with that? And I was like, yes, like absolutely. A bunch of my buddies have been like, hey, did you get paid for it? And I was like, no, absolutely not. Like they've used a ton of different, content creators and podcasts and radio shows and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I've kind of thought about like, what would they, I mean, like it would have been like $2, right? What was it worth? If that.
Well, the residuals would have paid a factor. Now, how much residuals is 5 seconds worth of a clip is the big question.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just like, okay, I've been like Seinfeld signing the checks for 5 years that are like $1.50. And so, but anyway,
pay for my coffee in the morning. Just do that.
You gotta cash it. You gotta cash it. That accrues interest. Yeah.
Give me 1 year of Netflix. That's what I should have asked for. Can I get a year of Netflix? Because even if they just said no, but it was cool. I have a quick clip. Tom said, "Can you put a clip together?" I did, and I got Cole's picture next to it. This will flip back. It is 5 seconds, so this won't waste a lot of your time.
Another sellout here at Neyland Stadium. It'll be about 102,000.
I think he would be better off just going with Lagway. There it is. 7 words. I don't know. I can't count that high. But I said that after they played Samford, when he went for, I think, 457 yards, a freshman record in the Swamp.
4 touchdowns that day.
Yeah,
I just watched that episode. I heard your voice. I told Kirsten last night. I know TJ. I work with him.
Yeah, it was. And so I said that after Samford. So I'm watching the documentary and they get to the A&M game and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I didn't make the final cut. Like I almost turned it off, but then I was like, let me check, let me keep watching just in case. And even though I said it earlier, they played it obviously at the start of that Tennessee game. And it was pretty cool to see it. Cole, I know you were in there too. Pretty neat to see yourself on screen and hear some of your takes while you're watching a documentary about your favorite sport in the world.
So I actually was in a couple more takes with it. Now my voice is in a few more. There's an actual video of me just talking straight up. I thought that was really cool. It speaks volume about some of the podcasts that they've targeted because they know that there is a driven audience. And I think the biggest thing that I took away from that was not only was it a great test of seeing where the SEC is and just reliving what was last season, which was chaotic in so many ways, but it kind of spoke volume and validity to, what we do here, that we're not just a run-of-the-mill type of podcast that people aren't paying attention to because if Netflix could target anybody and they said, we like your clips, we like what you had to say, we're going to throw you into where millions of people could watch it. Even if they don't know who you are, we can mention, hey, this is from SEC Unfiltered, or this is from the Power 2, or this is from the War Channel, or whatever channel you're on. There's reasons that you need to be checking out these type of local podcasters and why we're going to continue to see the growth of it. But also, I went through and I watched almost the entire documentary. I'm on the very last episode. I think it was really well done. I will say there is some pushback that I do have, which is they didn't tell the entire story for several of the teams. Yeah. The Florida episode specifically, we only saw Florida lose the game to Tennessee.
I loved it.
We didn't see comeback. And that was a problem that has. You're going to tell the narrative, tell it fully. DJ Lagway did respond in the fourth quarter, trailing to Tennessee to send that game in overtime. But all we see is the overtime field goal and then the run by Dylan Sampson to win the football game. So, I wish that they went into more detail, like the Nicky Manwari interception in game 1, the LSU game. It was such a critical moment for the SEC because it altered an entire pathway for a fan base. And they truly, in my opinion, were snubbed the college football playoff bid for that one play. But we just glossed all over it because we watched instead LSU make the comeback. I think that there was some storytelling in there, elements that were very souring, but still, it's more SEC football. It was the ultimate, appetizer, like the first
Yeah.
course of a 12 meal entree that you're going to have where you're getting prepared for football. So I appreciate that. And also, I get to tell my friends and my family, hey, my voice is right here. Hey, this is me in a video. My niece is about to be born, and I get to hold her in my arms and go, listen, your Uncle Cole was in a video. It was in a Netflix documentary. You're entering a world where you have a famous uncle. Look at that.
Yeah, I didn't even have to send it to anybody because my wife sent it to about 400 people. So like she was probably like we joked off air. I think off air. I can't even remember. It all kind of blended together. But yeah, she was proud. Like she sent it to a ton of people, and it was cool. It was neat. Tom, I don't know if you've watched any of it or just, are basking in the awe of your two co-hosts here, but
way by you guys, I've been fortunate to have some interesting television and media opportunities.
Tom's already famous.
I say,
What did I forget? Like,
I don't know about that, but I don't believe I've been on Netflix. If I've been on something posthumous, my time in WWE that they happen to re-air, I'm unaware of it. But I'm very excited for you guys to get some exposure on there. I think it's really cool. I haven't seen the documentary yet. I'm a little jaded with Netflix documentaries because Swamp Kings was so off. They missed the target by so much. And you can just tell sometimes when documentaries get put together, you have to understand who wanted it put together and what was the message they were putting out there. So I wouldn't be shocked if there are elements of storytelling that it's like, hey, what's best for the doc as opposed to what actually happened. So I do want to take a look at it, and I will absolutely watch a documentary about college football. I am half debating starting Last Chance U football, not basketball, from the very beginning, because that is an amazing series also on Netflix.
Well, that set the tone. I think that every other Netflix documentary series should have been off of that, and especially in the world of sports. And they didn't. Like Swamp Kings is so bad in terms of what we thought it was supposed to be. The Johnny Manziel documentary had so many elements that were left on out. Like I've talked to people just like around the program, and they're like, they missed about 80% of Johnny's story. And partially that's because of he still is a public figure. And I'm not going to be a public figure if they show what was actually supposed to be said. So, like, there's ways to go about it, but still, it means they're closer to college football season. Just the fact that that's on our screen just gives us the warm welcome of, hey, you're almost at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. On the UF thing specifically, because that's one of the two that I did watch, I felt like they were trying to make it so much about Graham Mertz. And so then when he got hurt, like, it felt like they just skated, like, all right, well, that's the end of the episode, like. And I saw UF fans complaining like, man, I want to see what happened against Ole Miss and LSU and down the stretch, beating FSU, beating all this other stuff, which I completely understand that. I haven't seen all of them. It doesn't seem like anything is a full season in review. Like they take a very specific approach with each episode, at least based on the titles. I mean, Cole, you could correct me if I'm wrong there because I haven't seen them all like you, but it seems like, and so from UF's perspective, I would be the same way. I'd be like, hey, you showed all our crappy moments, getting blown out by A&M, blown out by Miami, losing on the road to Tennessee. Where's Ole Miss? Where's LSU? Where's the Knowles? But I also understand Netflix was like, well, it was a QB focused thing, so we showed so I get both sides, but I mean, fans are never happy with anything. So I understand that.
So, like, the Vanderbilt episode is mostly Vanderbilt, but there's, like, a couple of other clips in there. Like, the thing that we'll say about the Florida episode is it was all Florida. Like, that first episode was a mix of LSU and South Carolina leading up to that game. The last episode is Tennessee, Kentucky, and South Carolina, all talking about their end of the season. The A&M is mixing in a little bit with South Carolina a bit. Arkansas is mixing in a little bit. But, like, that episode is strictly Florida. You aren't turning to anything else. So that's where you can be a little appreciative if you're a Gators fan, that they put so much of an emphasis, not just on the quarterback position, but on Billy Napier's tenure, on us and where we are as a program going into the year versus how we finished the year, how the entire narrative changed around Billy after that signature win to close out. I mean, that signature upset. So, like, there's a lot of things that go into it, but also you want to see the upsets. You want to see the Florida LSU game. You want to see the Florida Ole Miss game. And you just get told, oh, here's DJ Lagway running it in for a touchdown. He gets the win. Here's DJ Lagway fine in the back of the end zone. He gets the win. Here's them in the Gasparilla Bowl. He gets the win. Okay, well, how about I see it? Like one or two plays that's really, really promising about that makes them where I feel like that this team has turned the tides.
Yeah, it was such a I don't feel for Florida fans at all. But it was such a, yeah, it was just all Florida's lowlights, So like, I get it, man. Like I understand that. On the media, real quick, and Cole talked a little bit about like, yeah, these people, these people at Netflix, like certainly did their due diligence. I mean, I saw so many. You had to look at it really quick. I actually had to screen record and then pause the screen record because they go through the credits so fast. But I saw College Football Addiction on there. I obviously saw SEC Unfiltered and others. But there were so many. That was cool to see so many just independent media, right? Like independent media really making a big difference. And there was the big stuff too. Like Staples was interviewed in person. There were Feinbaum was interviewed in person. There was a lot of that stuff too. But it was cool to see that aspect, and maybe that's a good transition into On3 making some splashes. And Cole, I know you're like, I can feel Cole like tensing up right now, ready to get some takes off. But On3 made two notable hires this week, or switches or flops or whatever you would call them. Not flops, but flips. Brought in Josh Pate, which is a huge name and maybe the biggest in the industry. Brings in Josh Pate as they continue to New York Yankees their way to being the college football entity. And then Zach Herbstreit, which I also thought was interesting. I am not super familiar with Zach. I mean, obviously his dad is one of the biggest faces in the space as well, but let's talk about On3 making some splashes.
Is Zach the one running Kirk's social media handles, or
and then
was that bullshit? Or that was bullshit, right? Okay.
And then there was the Ohio State, and they played at Ohio State.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
So Zach blocked me, but anyway, thoughts on either one of those two hires? Whoever can go here.
Cole, after you.
You never burn bridges in this industry. I wish them both the best of luck. I think that it's a great hire. I do. Now, again, Pate's already come out and said that nothing's going to change. The show format's going to stay the same. Hopefully, it's still going to be brought to you by Academy. Still going to have the quick trip deals. And Pate is the standard in college football podcasting. I mean, like, you can go ahead and argue with other people and saying that they've done a good job. And there's a lot of good content creators out there, which is why I want to preface this by saying just because of one person joins an entity doesn't mean that it's a good move or a bad move. And don't just sneer at the other people that are trying to make the industry that much more popular. The thing that has been a beauty about people like Pate opening up doors is he's shown you that you can have success in the world of college football and podcasting, not just in the national media perspective. And ESPN has gone downhill with their national perspective. I think Fox Sports has completely lost its mind outside of Joel Klatt, who, for my opinion, is the best podcaster in college football. That's just my 2 cents, but that's neither here nor there. You can have your arguments. But I think it's a great move for On3. Shannon Terry knows what he's doing. He's built up to mega dynasties and rivals, and then 247. He's doing it once again with what he's building over there in Nashville. And I wish him the best. And as for Zach, best of luck to you, buddy. And honestly, I would just stay off social media for a little bit. Like, honestly, that would just be my personal advice is don't look at what anybody is saying. Just do your own thing. Stay the best course. And hopefully you and I can have a good conversation one day. And maybe you can convince your boss. Power 2 is a really good show. You should bring them on as well.
I wonder. So I'm not, and I don't mean this as a slam. I don't know anything about Zach Herbstreit. But I am intrigued by it. Like, I'm not like, but there are a lot of haters. A lot of people are like, oh, well, this, that. Listen, I don't really care, right? Like, why do you think most people get jobs? But I am intrigued by it because I do think it'll be interesting. Obviously, Kirk is a very polarizing figure, good or bad, with a lot of fan bases. And Kirk has been on Double Fries No Slaw. Like, he's been on my FSU show. He gave us an hour, and we kept saying, dude, we got to get you off here. We keep talking. And he was so gracious and so great, even through all the Florida State crap of the last couple of years. He is, listen, I've always really liked Kirk Herbstreit. Now, obviously, FSU fans have this big battle with him now. But I will say that the both hires really intriguing. And boy, anything that On3 seems to do these days causes a massive reaction, and I enjoy it. It's all entertainment to me. So people are getting upset or mad or hyped or whatever about anything. This is all entertainment. Like, this is all like, no matter what happens or what On3 does, what we do, I got to go like put my kids down for a nap after this. I got to go take them to dinner. They got school in the morning. Like, I don't know, life goes on, but I enjoy the entertainment factor. I enjoy the freak out.
Yeah. It's entertainment across the board. It's sports entertainment for a reason. I think there's this big need within sports media from consumers and from customers, fans, whatever you want to call it, for information. And I think that's where On3 has been so good for a long time. And I think that's why you're seeing some of these moves, is that it's like, hey, you got to bring it on the entertainment side as well. And that you can't just do nonstop information and education. Like, I'm a nerd and I love that sort of stuff. So I am interested in what On3 is doing, especially with Josh Pate. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're going to have to spice it up a little bit. That's just kind of the nature of getting eyeballs in this day and age. So.
Yeah, all I will say to end this segment is that's really cool that you hired those two. It's just going to make me work 3 times as hard to prove you why I should be in the running to be one of the other podcasters that you hire one day, whether it be with the Power 2, SEC Unfiltered, whatever. And you know what? That's a good thing. It makes you more hungry to be in that conversation where you build your own platform and you're competing against them. And then they have to pay attention to you. And best of luck to you guys. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I do, not to make it so much about us, but I'll do it. You tuned into our show. I do love what we're building, and I think it's, I love the independent side of things. Now, I will say On3, as much as that is a corporate entity, I think they do a really good job of letting unique voices be unique voices. JD is a very unique voice. I think my buddy Josh Newberg is a very unique voice. They don't feel like a corporate entity. They very much are. That's not a slam on them. Brett McMurphy is his own, he's wishing people happy birthdays and tracking bowl games. I feel like they have done a good job. That's one thing I'll give them a ton of credit for, is they have assembled a very large team, a great team, but they, not everybody just sounds the same, right? Like, they're all towing that. They all kind of have their own unique voices but that's my favorite thing about being independent, right? Not that we would never go somewhere or do something that made sense with any, big entity, but I do that's what I like about SEC Unfiltered. That's why as an SEC hater, I tune in and watch Chris and you guys talk is I like the independent side of things where you can just kind of have your takes and get them off.